What's going on YouTube? It's Tom here. We're back with another video today. Today I have the second of two knives sent along by Will at Parsons Blade Works. This is another Kubey to go along with that Nova that we tested a little bit ago. This one doesn't actually have a name. It's the KB252. This one is an M390. This one is actually currently on sale on Kubey's site for $160. It's normally like $2 something. So if it seems like a knife that you're interested in at the end of the video, that's probably a good opportunity to grab one for a pretty decent price. So let's go ahead and get into the video. We don't really need to talk a whole lot about M390. I mean, that's kind of been covered so many times between my channel and Gerald's channel, and I think Steve has covered it a bunch, and obviously, I mean, there's more people as well. But it's just been covered so much that there's really no need to talk about it. There's no secret that it's frequently underwhelming when done in a production capacity. It seems like it's a difficult heat treat for a lot of makers, and it just seems one that most manufacturers can't get right, or they just don't care to get it right. So Kubey actually advertises this at 61 to 62. This particular model actually tested at 59.8. I don't know if you guys can see there. It's going to be kind of difficult. The three little marks right by my fingers here. It's been HRC tested 3 different times and came out to an average of 59.8. So if Kubey's variance is plus or minus 1 HRC point, that's technically in spec because that would round up to 60. So technically it's in spec. I didn't really do any testing on this outside of just the normal cardboard testing. I didn't do any day-to-day use on it or anything like that. I basically just sharpened it a few times and then went ahead and tested it. In sharpening, this felt very, very good. With M390, if it's not done very well, it kind of has a particular feel to it off the stones or on the stones. It will feel kind of gummy, kind of soft, like the stones feel like they're digging into the steel a little bit too much. This had that proper skating feel in the stones. If M390 is properly hardened, I mean like most steels, it'll feel like it's kind of skating. The stones just kind of feel like it's skating over the edge and not like digging in and grabbing a whole bunch of material. Another good sign was just how easily it deburred. It was ready to rock right off the stones. Really didn't need any stropping or anything like that if I didn't need to or if I didn't want to. It was pretty impressive. I went ahead and I followed that normal sharpening progression that we always use for testing. 200 to 1000 grit diamond on the wicked edge here to my left, and then stropped on 16 and 4 micron CBN on leather. The edge on this thing was just incredibly crisp, very, very impressive. It would shave my arm hair very, very easily, like with like little to no pressure, like basically just floating it above my arm. See that front portion is actually still sharp. You can see, I mean, it's just picking hairs off super, super easily. It takes almost no pressure whatsoever to do that, and that's very impressive. M390, if it's not done well, does not want to do that. So I measured the behind the edge thickness on this before the test. You can see a little bit of Sharpie still there on the blade. But I measured the behind the edge thickness before the test, and it came out to 24 thousandths behind the edge, which is extremely average. I mean, that's how most production knives are going to be. So as always, went ahead and cut cardboard until it would no longer cut computer paper, and the final result on this one came out to 300.88 feet, which is actually pretty good results for M390. I mean, obviously there's still a lot of performance out there on the table, as we've seen from some of the custom stuff and a few production outliers, but very good results. It beats the Shirogorov Hatian Light that we tested a while back, but it's behind a couple others. You guys can check out the edge retention chart that's linked in the description if you guys want to check that out for yourself. But performance is pretty solid when you're considering the price versus the others around that same performance. Comparing it to the Nova that we tested a little while back in AUS 10, it just doesn't really separate itself enough to justify the price difference for me. The Nova was like $60-ish in AUS 10, and it did almost 280 feet. So it doesn't really justify the difference for me personally. Let's talk about the design itself because it is kind of interesting. Kind of has a reverse Tonto style blade. Has a bead blast finish on the grind here, and then the flats are a satin, so a really nice two-tone look there. Some nice spaced out jimping up here on the top. It wasn't too aggressive in testing and didn't really dig into my thumb at all. You have a nice titanium backspacer back here in the back, as well as full titanium handle scales. It's milled very nice. Kind of have some cool milling lines going on in the handle, kind of branching out from the center line. Handle's actually a pretty neutral shape too, so it's pretty comfortable in a wide variety of grips. Has a milled pocket clip, and I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see, but it kind of has some cool, it's like a multifaceted look to it. Just kind of a neat overall look. The flipper tab actually has some nice chamfering on it as well, so it doesn't hurt when you flip it or anything. What I didn't like about the flipper was that it's kind of pointed up like this, and if you're sitting there flipping it a whole bunch, that can kind of get a little bit uncomfortable. Not a big deal though. The only real downside is the handle is a bit boxy. It doesn't, I mean, even though it has chamfering everywhere, like it's chamfered on every single edge here and even on the inside and everything, even though it's chamfered on every single edge like that, it is a bit boxy, and it did get a little bit uncomfortable in prolonged cutting. Like towards the end of that test, my hand was starting to have a few hot spots on it. Not a huge deal. I mean, most of us aren't sitting down to cut 300 plus feet of cardboard every time we cut something with our knives, so not a big deal. Overall, I think it's a pretty solid knife for the money, especially at the sale price on their website. So like I said, if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, go check it out because it seems like a pretty good deal. Thanks again to Will for sending this and the Nova along for testing. He has a few designs in the works with Kubey that are posted on his Instagram, so if you want to go check him out on Instagram, his handle is @ParsonsBladeWorks. Go check him out. And I think that's going to do it. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to drop a like and hit that subscribe button down below. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.